Today's lesson is called Virgin Hyperloop Completes First Passenger Test. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
I am Roger, and today we're going to be talking about a new form of technology and a new form of transportation that may change our lives for the better.
And I got to stop you right there.
Yeah?
It says Virgin Hyperloop. I thought that Elon Musk was behind that. Isn't Virgin Richard Branson's company? What's going on here?
I think it is Richard Branson's company, as we're going to find out later. I guess Virgin refers to Virgin Atlantic, not the first use of this thing, although it probably will be used for the first time soon. But in any case, this technology is called the Hyperloop. Okay, a loop, of course, is just going around in circles, and hyper probably means really, really fast. So yeah, imagine being able to move around in a country in a circle at a high rate of speed. Like there would be a loop around Taiwan going from Taipei to Geelong to Yilan to Taidong, and then around the other side to Kaohsiung, Tainan, Jianghua, Taichung, etc. It would be a loop around Taiwan.
Anyways, very interesting. Virgin Hyperloop completes first passenger test. So it looks like Elon Musk released this technology, or at least the plans for this technology, which I think he made this open source. And I think Richard Branson, I guess he invested in this or put his engineers on this, and they put it together. They went ahead and they built it, and they've now completed their first passenger test. How cool. Let's read on and learn all about this. We'll do so right after a short break.
Virgin Hyperloop completes first passenger test. Virgin Hyperloop has conducted the first test of its ultra-fast transportation system with human passengers on board. For the test, which took place in the desert outside Las Vegas on November 8, 2020, two company executives were strapped into a Hyperloop pod, which reached speeds of up to 172 kilometers per hour after being placed inside a 500-meter-long vacuum tube. The company has already conducted over 400 tests without human passengers.
大家好，第一部分我们要看到单字 ultra fast， 这个字是形容词，指急速的、超快的。例如 The country is going to introduce ultra-fast bullet trains by the end of next year. 那个国家打算在明年底前引进高速子弹列车。另外，补充两个也是以 ultra 开头的复合形容词。第一 ultra modern, M-O-D-E-R-N, ultra modern 意思是极为现代的，像是 Let me show you the photos of our room at that ultra modern hotel we stayed in while in Tokyo. 我给你看看我们在东京时入住的超现代饭店的房间照片。第二 ultra efficient, E-F-F-I-C-I-E-N-T, ultra efficient意思是极有效率的。我们可以说 This charger is ultra efficient, powering a typical smartphone from 0 to full in half an hour on average. 这个充电器的效率超高，将一般智慧型手机从没电到充饱，平均只要半小时。再来，我们看到动词 strap， 指用带子系捆。举例来说 The farmer strapped the heavy bags onto the donkey's back. 农夫把沉重的袋子绑在驴子背上。另外，这个字也可以当名词，指肩带、背带。例如 Jessie broke the strap of her purse while chasing after a stray cat. Jessie 在追一只流浪猫时弄断了她皮包的背带。再补充一个相关片语 be strapped for cash, C-A-S-H, be strapped for cash 表示手头很紧，像是 Sarah has been strapped for cash lately, so she probably can't afford to go out to eat. Sarah 最近手头很紧，所以她可能没钱上馆子。
Okay, so this Hyperloop is really great, but it might be dangerous for people because it's a new technology. But hooray for Virgin here because they have completed the first passenger test, and the passengers rode on this Hyperloop and they survived without a scratch. So let's find out what this is all about. Here in the first paragraph it says, Virgin Hyperloop has conducted the first test of its ultra-fast transportation system with human passengers on board. Okay, so yes, indeed, this is a fast transportation system, but it's not just fast, it's ultra fast. It's really, really, really fast. It will help you get, say, from Taipei to Kaohsiung in less than 20 minutes or something like that. So that is ultra fast.
Anyways, Virgin Hyperloop, they've conducted some tests, okay? And now they've conducted this first test with people on board. Now, for the test, which took place in the desert outside Las Vegas on November 8th, 2020, two company executives were strapped into a Hyperloop pod, which reached speeds of up to 172 kilometers per hour after being placed inside a 500-meter-long vacuum tube. Wow. By the way, they weren't fooling around here, okay? They didn't say, all right, let's find two bums, so if the Hyperloop explodes, no big loss. No. They found two company executives, two very important people. If these people were lost, Virgin Hyperloop, the company, might be doomed because these executives might just have died if anything happened during this test. Anyways, executives are just really big, important people within a company. Usually, the top person in a big company or a corporation is the CEO. Like Steve Jobs was the CEO of Apple. He was the chief executive officer.
He was, and of course, as you know, Apple came out with the iPhone and the iPod. So there we have the word pod, and these executives were strapped into a Hyperloop pod. A pod is kind of like a round container that is separate, and of course, peas come from pods. So yeah, they had to wear safety belts. They were strapped in so they didn't get thrown around, and so they didn't hit their heads on the side of the pod or something like that. And that particular pod reached speeds of up to 172 kilometers per hour after being placed inside a 500-meter-long vacuum tube. It's a good start.
It's a good start. By the way, a vacuum tube. That is a tube from which all air has been removed, okay? You can think of space as a gigantic vacuum. If you went out in space there and you thought that you'd be floating around and breathing air, sorry, pal, no, space is a vacuum. That's why astronauts have to wear special suits when they go out into space. Here, though, we have a vacuum tube. There's just no air in that tube. All the air has been sucked out. That's what a vacuum tube is in this particular situation. Fun fact, out there in space, there is no sound. Why? Because here on Earth, where we have an atmosphere with air and stuff like that, we hear things because of that air, okay? That sound is carried on waves that are propagated on air, okay? There's really cool experiment that you can do in your science class in high school there. You can put a bell inside of a vacuum tube. Then remove the air from that vacuum tube. Once you do, you won't be able to hear that bell ringing anymore because there won't be any air to carry that sound to your ear anymore. It's really cool. A really cool instance of how a vacuum tube can affect the way that you can see and perceive the world.
It is fascinating indeed, but again, this pod moved pretty fast through this vacuum tube, and the company has already conducted over 400 tests without human passengers. Now they're confident enough to have some tests with actual passengers, even starting with some company executives. They're that confident that this technology will work. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now and continue to talk about the Virgin Hyperloop.
The Los Angeles company is one of several startups that began working on Hyperloop systems after the concept was introduced in 2012 by Elon Musk, founder of Tesla and SpaceX. These systems use magnetic levitation to make pods float through tubes almost silently and at ultra-fast speeds. If successful, Hyperloop systems will allow travel at twice the speed of commercial jets and 4 times that of high-speed rail, transforming how passengers and cargo are transported.
第二部分我们看到名词 startup 指新创公司、新兴企业，例如 Gary is the CEO of one of the startups in the region. Gary 是这地区其中一间新创公司的执行长。另外，这个字也可以当形容词，指初始的、创业的。我们可以说The 2 businessmen ran into a lot of startup problems after forming a company. 那2名商人成立公司后遇到许多创业困难。再来，我们看到单字 magnetic， 这个字是形容词，指磁性的、磁铁的、磁力作用的。例如 Did you know that the Earth has 2 magnetic poles? 你知道地球有2个磁极吗？或是 When the switch is turned on, the materials become magnetic.开关打开时，这些物质就会变得有磁性。另外，除了上面的意思，这个字还可以指有吸引力的、有魅力的。举例来说 ，Beverly has a magnetic personality. Beverly 拥有吸引人的个性。
Okay, Virgin Hyperloop, that's the company. Now, the Los Angeles company is one of several startups that began working on Hyperloop systems after the concept was introduced in 2012 by Elon Musk, founder of Tesla and SpaceX. So there you go. I knew that Elon Musk was behind all of this. But again, I believe he just developed this idea and kind of put it out there and said, if people want to work on this, go for it. Have at it. So he didn't develop the blueprints or anything like that. Just the main idea. This idea from which other ideas might come or spring. By the way, a general idea that might lead to more specific ideas, okay, later on down the line. That's a concept. That's what the word concept means in this particular situation.
Yeah, when I first started studying Buddhism, I had trouble understanding the concept of karma. It's a pretty abstract idea, and it's a concept that's difficult to understand, at least at the beginning. So yes, this is a concept, and it was introduced in the year 2012 by Elon Musk, and he's the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. The founder, of course, is the person who started a company, and these systems use magnetic levitation to make pods float through tubes almost silently and at ultra-fast speeds. So if you're talking about something in terms of magnetic, that means it uses iron and these magnetic forces to make something repel something or to be attracted to something. It's like using magnets, okay? We often talk about the Earth's magnetic field, how it shields us and protects us from harmful cosmic rays or the solar wind.
So there you go. You've got a vacuum tube and you've got magnets, and these pods, they float because of the magnets, okay? And they move almost silently. Remember, there's no air, so there's not going to be any noise. Further, there won't be any friction or any resistance due to air either, because this is a vacuum tube. How cool. Anyways, if successful, Hyperloop systems will allow travel at twice the speed of commercial jets and 4 times that of high-speed rail, transforming how passengers and cargo are transported. So not only can you move people, but you can move cargo, products, goods, etc.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's move on now to the third part and wrap things up.
Virgin Hyperloop is aiming for commercial operations by 2030. The company is the latest high-flying transportation venture of Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group. With today's successful test, we have shown that this spirit of innovation will in fact change the way people everywhere live, work, and travel in the years to come, Branson said in a statement.
最后第三部分，我们看到名词 innovation 指创新、革新、新方法、新事物。例如 A few innovations in the factory made working there much easier. 工厂里的几项新事物使工作起来更加轻松。
So, Virgin Hyperloop. It's Elon Musk's brainchild, right? Not exactly. Remember, the Hyperloop thing. Sure, Elon Musk did come up with the concept behind it, but Virgin, that is Richard Branson's company. Anyways, let's dive into this a little bit deeper. Virgin Hyperloop is aiming for commercial operations by 2030, i.e., they want to start using Hyperloop to make money by 2030. So that's the idea here.
Yeah, that would be in less than 10 years. And operations just refers to conducting your business. So yes, indeed, they want to have paying passengers and companies who pay to ship cargo. And hopefully they can be profitable. And the company is the latest high-flying transportation venture of Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group. So yes, it's high-flying. It's a high-flying venture, which means it's brand new, it's innovative, it hasn't been done before, and it's very ambitious as well. So it's going to make big changes in our society if it is successful.
There you go, Richard Branson. With today's successful test, we have shown that this spirit of innovation will in fact change the way people everywhere live, work, and travel in the years to come, Branson said in a statement. And yes, that's a very Branson-esque statement. He's all about changing the world and the way that people live and think and work and travel, so on and so forth. By the way, earlier I mentioned Steve Jobs. He was all about innovation. He wanted to do new things. He wanted to innovate. By the way, innovate would be the verb. Okay, if you innovate, you come up with new ideas, new things, big improvements on pre-existing things. Innovation is just the act of innovating.
Indeed. So that, of course, will probably make some big changes in the way we live in the future in less than 10 years. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. It's time now for our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分的最后一句写道，如果成功的话，超回路系统将使行进速度达到商业客机的2倍，高铁的4倍。好，那这边我们就来介绍倍数的表示法。当我们用倍数进行比较时，一般是用数字加上 times 来表达几倍，像 3 times 3倍， 4 times 4倍等等。那么一半会用 half 2倍可以用 2 times 或者是 twice。 好，那么常见的倍数说法有以下3种。第一种，我们可以用倍数加形容词比较级加上 than 什么什么。举例来说， Their campus is 5 times bigger than ours. 他们的校园比我们的大了5倍。那要特别注意， half 和 twice 不能用在这个比较级句型里面来做比较。它要表达2倍的话，我们必须用 2 times 加比较级再加上 than。好，再来看第二种说法，是用倍数加上 as 形容词 as。像刚刚的例句就可以改成 Their campus is 5 times as big as ours。 好，第三种说法呢，我们可以用倍数加上 the 加名词计量词加上 of。 好，那么英文里面常见的名词计量词有包含 size, length, age, number, weight, height 等等，就是像尺寸啊、长度啊、重量、高度等等这些。好，那么像课文写到说 twice the speed of commercial jets， 就是说商业客机速度的2倍。还有呢 4 times that of high-speed rail， 其中这个 that 就是代指前面提过的 the speed， 所以它是要表达 4 times the speed of high-speed rail， 那意思就是高铁速度的4倍了。好，那我们也把前面造的例句用这个说法来改写，那就可以说 Their campus is 5 times the size of ours。 好，那这个用法呢，有时候也会看到另外一个句型是倍数加上 ones 所有格，好，再加上名词计量词，像是 Her husband is about twice her age， 她老公的年纪啊，几乎是她的2倍。好，那我们再补充2个跟倍数相关的句型，你可以用倍数加上 as many 复数可数名词加上 as， 或者是倍数加上 as much 不可数名词加上 as。 那么这一类的句型是用原级来做比较，去表达什么什么的数量是什么什么的几倍。举例来说 Emma has half as many shoes as her roommate， Emma 拥有的鞋子数量是她室友的1半。Sam makes twice as much money as his brother. Sam 赚的钱是他弟弟的2倍。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Executive. Gene scheduled a meeting with the other executives in his company. Strap. The fisherman strapped the knife to his leg and jumped into the water. Vacuum. To perform the experiment, the scientists created a vacuum in the chamber. Concept. Grace tried to explain her idea to her boss, but he failed to understand the concept. Founder. Bernard is the founder of 3 successful companies. Magnetic. Credit cards have a magnetic strip that is read by machines. Cargo. The workers quickly unloaded the ship's cargo at the port. Operation. Stewart is responsible for all of his company's banking operations.
Discussion starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today. How might Hyperloop systems transform the way we travel in the future?
Well, if these systems are successful, I can see travel becoming very, very strange. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean strange as in futuristic. Further, if anything were to happen to the pod, like if there were a hole in it or if it got punctured in some way, being in a big vacuum tube, that would kind of be scary to me. So, okay, I'm all for it, but the future, man, I don't know if I'm totally prepared for it, but it seems pretty cool in a strange way.
Well, if these systems are successful, of course, it could change life in places around the world, especially here in Taiwan. It would reduce transportation times between various cities here, and I'm sure a lot of you would love to go back and see your relatives in Pingdong in less than an hour.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you guys enjoyed reading and learning along with us. I am Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.